What's up, Magic fans, and welcome to another episode of Orlando Magic Soundoff presented by Socios.com. I'm Mackenzie Thirkill, and I am so excited today to be joined by Ali, Brooks, and Alex. Guys, first off, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join me to talk all about Orlando Magic basketball. Before we get into it, I want to hear where everybody currently is, because every time we have a new show, everyone is either all in Orlando or is in a completely different state altogether or in some other part of the world. So with that being said, Ollie, start with you. Where are you at?
Detroit, Michigan.
All right. So there we go. How did you end up as a Magic fan being in Detroit?
Well, I grew up a huge Tracy McGrady fan. I actually have the T-Mac 3s right here.
Hey.
So when I first started watching basketball, that was kind of like, who I really looked up to. And then after that, I've just been an Orlando Magic fan ever since.
I love it. Brooks, what about you?
I am in Winter Park right now. So the local team, I'm a big fan of the Magic. Shaq's a great player. Love Penny Hardaway. So love the Magic.
Alex, what about you?
I'm in Burton, Michigan, and I grew up when I was younger when I met my stepdad.
Love it. So we got two guys in Michigan, someone holding it down in Florida with me. Everyone is brought here by the Orlando Magic. So with that being said, let's get into our first topic of the day. So of course, there's so much excitement and buzz around this team right now, especially coming out of the All-Star break. We've seen the scores that this team has put up, how well they've been against the competition. But one of the most exciting talking points, I think, is just the return of Markelle Fultz. He, of course, was gone for being injured for over a year. We finally got him back during our back-to-back or two-game homestand against the Indiana Pacers, and it has just been so exciting to see him back out on the hardwood. With that being said, I just want to know what you guys have seen from him and what has made you most excited about his return. Alex, I'll start with you.
With Markelle Fultz being back, he's trying his hardest to help his team out, and he's trying his best to be one of the best on his team.
Yeah, definitely. Brooks, what have been your thoughts or initial impressions since his return?
I'm really optimistic about his return. He is the number one pick, so everyone thinks he could be the best player from his draft class. And so I'm just excited for him to reach that potential, and it's all good to watch that.
Yeah, and of course, when you think before he went down in his injury, January of last year, we know the numbers that he was putting up. It was the best that he had ever been and that we've seen since that draft when Philadelphia acquired him.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like he hasn't missed a beat. His athleticism is there. I think he had 11 assists yesterday and 19 minutes. So he's looking good, and the team was, I think, 5-2 or 6-2 last year before he got hurt. So I mean, we're seeing an even better version of Markelle. His jump shot looks good. He had a step back yesterday over James Harden, which was pretty nice. So he's looking good.
Wendell Carter Jr., who I think, have to talk about because of what he's just brought to this team this season. Of course, he's been known for his defense, but we've seen him lately step up a lot offensively as well, which is really exciting now that he's currently leading the team in points. But also, he's just been showing up in some really big games, in some really big matchups, and that's what you want to see from your big, especially when you're in a league against guys like Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic, who put up insane numbers night in and night out, and Wendell Carter Jr., stepping up to that task and trying to prove his point as to why he should one day also be in that conversation. Brooks, what have you seen from Dell?
I think he's playing amazing. He's really showing the Magic why they brought him here. I grew up in Chicago, so I think that's where he started, and so I moved down here around probably the same time he got traded. And yeah, he's doing really great. It's been awesome to see him play for two great franchises, but my favorite, the Magic.
Yeah. Ali, how much have you enjoyed just watching Dell this season, but even especially lately?
Oh yeah, I mean, I love Wendell. He's probably my second favorite guy on the team behind Markelle, but no, I mean he's great, and like Mo Bamba, I mean he's able to spread the floor. I mean when you have two bigs who can spread the floor, it's hard to stop, right, because of floor spacing, and then again defensively he's always been good. I feel like he stepped that up. And then even like his hustle plays, like I know they lost the tip against Philly in overtime on Sunday, but I mean you saw he went up and got it, and then he deflected it again to give him a chance to almost get it, and then have a chance to win that game. So I mean he's done it in more ways than one, and he's still young. I think he's 22. So he has a bright future.
Yeah, he's super young, and this I think has been the year that we've really seen him grow a lot. And of course I think that all kind of started, and we've talked about it on the show, and it's something that's talked about a lot, is that rematch game, the first going up against Chicago up back in November. And of course he was like, I have a chip on my shoulder, I feel a little sour and don't have like the best feelings toward my former team and everything that went down. And that's where I think we saw the turn, especially defensively and offensively, really the way he defended Vooch, the numbers that he put up in that game. And he talked about honing in and saying how much more film he's watching and how much more he's trying to be in tune with the guys he's going up against and knowing their tendencies. But also more than that, he's also been the guy that's speaking up in the locker room at halftime. So he's now also evolving into a bit of this leadership role as well, that I think you're also seeing translate onto the court with how he's playing. How have you guys seen that at all? Him kind of step into like a leadership role or kind of have that presence on the court?
Yeah, I have. I mean, I have a couple times this year, even in losses. I mean, you can see, the frustration when they do lose. So I mean, you saw it yesterday. Really in the huddles, being engaged, with teammates. So I've seen it in more ways than one.
Yeah, it's just really exciting. And like I said, with him being known really for his defense and now seeing his offense come around and he's really being this full, well-rounded player, I think is really exciting. And you also want that player that talks about wanting to prove that he is part of the elite big conversation in this league. And Brooks, just like you were saying, with how young he is too, that's really exciting as well, because you could see his potential. Of course, he signed a new contract with us this year. That'll keep him here for a little bit. So hopefully we see what Jamal Mosley is kind of cooking down here in Orlando for this Magic team. It only means good things in the future. But what are you guys looking forward to in the coming weeks, just in general, from this team? There's a lot of really good games, and of course we're in our final stretch of the season. So what are you guys most looking forward to through the next month or so? Alex, I'll start with you.
Seeing them just try their best and work as a team to try to beat the other teams.
Yeah, winning is always good. Ali, what about you?
Yeah, I'd say continued development. All of the guys are really developing. R.J. Hampton is looking good. Like you said, Wendell, Nolan, Markelle. So just continued development and growth. I think that's what the season's all about. So as long as that continues to happen, I'd say, we should all be pretty happy.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. But even we've seen guys like Chuma Okeke have big games as well, too, over these last few games. And that just adds to the excitement of what potential this team has, especially when we get off on the right foot to start a season and we know we're like, all right, you know what, all our guys are back, like, go for it and go all in. Brooks, what about you?
I'm really excited for this upcoming game against the Nets. I want to see how they play against a really good team. They've been scoring a lot of points, and so I know if they score a bunch of points against a team like the Nets that is aimed more towards that way and not like a defensive matchup, that maybe they could really get a big win that could boost their confidence and get some of the young guys some experience against these veterans.
Yeah, definitely. And that's something that Jamal Mosley has talked about, is just experimenting with light lineups and rotations over this next month or so, just to give guys the experience and get more of a taste of what they can expect in seasons to come. But Brooks, Ali, Alex, thank you guys so much again for taking time out of your day to join me on Orlando Magic Soundoff, presented by Socios.com. Ali's got the #1 fan. I love it. I love it. That's a great way to end. Guys, thank you guys so much again for joining me. I really appreciate it.